Okay. I don't know if this is working or not. I had to use an external kind of streaming situation. I'm using StreamYard because YouTube did not want to load in. So I just spent the last hour trying to get this to work. I feel like this is how every single one of my live streams start. Just me complaining about me not being able to get it to work for a long period of time. Anyway, hello, freaks and children of the fence. Welcome to part 2 of Coheed Cambria's Vaxis III, The Father of Make-Believe. So, if you didn't catch my previous stream, it's available on YouTube. I got through most of the album before a big storm came through and it kicked me off of the internet. So, apologize for that video, 1, getting cut off, and 2, being extremely long. I'm going to try and be a little bit more, brief on these. It's hard to do because I start getting into, talking about random things. Also, I think I had too much beer in the last video, so we're going this one sober. We're going this one just with the sparkling water. So I don't know if this video is going to be any better or worse than the last one, but hopefully this whole new streaming situation is better. I'm sorry, my camera keeps auto-focusing. I probably need to scoot back a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me when I scoot back like that. Anyway, we got through most of the album, and now I'm just going to be covering the continuum section of the album, which I always love the final tracks on any given concept album by Coheed Cambria, because they always feel a little bit more proggy to me, and there's definitely a lot more storytelling elements, and you can see how it really connects to the the lore and the story aspect of of the album, whereas like sometimes the other songs in the album can be a little bit difficult to connect to the lore, as sometimes I think they're inspired a little bit more by personal experiences by the band. Okay, anyway, also I'm like extremely tired today because the children did not sleep well last night, so sorry if I'm a little bleh, and not interesting today, but I'm just tired. Anyway, I really hope this is working. I hope I'm not wasting my time, because I've not done a live stream from StreamYard connecting to YouTube. And I don't know if I can see your guys' comments here. Like, there's like a whole chat thing over here, but I don't know if it sends it from YouTube to me here on StreamYard. Write something in the comments and tell me if it works, or I'll tell you if I'm able to see it. Okay. Sorry. I am able to share my screen this time, I think. Let's try this. Remove that one. Let's try this. Oh my gosh, I'm tiny. There we go. Sorry guys, I'm new with this whole thing. Okay, so, oh wait. Hey, it's working fine for me here. Oh, thank you, Cleverton. Hello. Glad it's working, and I'm glad I can see your comment. That's awesome. The StreamYard thing might be a good platform. I don't know. For me, who's a technology retard. Probably shouldn't say retard on the internet, but you know what? I'm not very politically correct, which is something I change when I do my editing. But you get the raw, unfiltered version of me here. So. We're starting off with the Continuum Part 1. Welcome to Forever, Mr. Nobody. Okay, so in the story booklet that we have here, Candelaria refers to Vaxis as Mr. Nobody. So this would lead you to think that this song is about Vaxis. However, I think it's also about Cyrus as well. So of course we have our intro here with All Mother, who I'm very excited to see returned to this storyline. We have All Mother here, and she is dying basically. So we kind of get this intro to where or how Cyrus ended up with all his memories lost and all this stuff. So verse 1, life can be so demanding when anxiety strikes, capable of withstanding. So this I think definitely refers to Cyrus in that like he comes back to life, or like back to the world out of, this containment unit that he was in, with suffering huge memory loss, and also having a lot of issues adjusting to being where he is in the time and place that he is. So definitely anxiety issues with that. Um, but also you could look at this from Vaxis's perspective, and he's kind of gone through a similar thing as Cyrus. So their stories kind of parallel each other in that, like, Vaxis has recently woken up to the real world, whereas he was kind of his mind was floating in this kind of ether of omniscient type of state of being before he was like woken up by Quinny. So they kind of have a very similar. So like again, this track can be interpreted as one or the other or both simultaneously of these characters' journeys. And I think it's the point, or not the point, but like my opinion would be that this kind of or this whole section showcases the parallels between the two characters and where they're at. Um, the pressure you never thought there'd be when you're with somebody. So that I think has to do with Vaxis, and like now he's in his human body and he has to figure out how to like communicate, you know, work on his interpersonal skills. You know what I mean? Like being around other people. Same with Cyrus. Being around other people makes him uncomfortable because he's just not used to it. So both these characters are not used to being around people. And again, this could also be interpreted as Claudio and his, anxiety. I don't know if I want to call it anxiety because I, of course, don't know him personally, but um, he's always said he is very shy, and he has in the past had a very hard time being the, kind of front man character and, like interacting with fans. So I could definitely see this also being the inspiration of this just being Claudio being a little bit shy. Okay. Pre-chorus. Why can't I just let this go? Hide inside something else's shadow. So this, I think, is definitely Cyrus on his journey. Like, why can't I just let this go? Is referring to him on the journey to go, find Mary to supposedly, bring her to the paradise part of the afterlife. So what he couldn't let go is Mary, is his love for her. Um, hide inside something else's shadow. I think that could kind of refer to Vaxis in, you know, not wanting to, I guess, I don't know, be in his human body. I'm desperate for release, wrestled down to my knees, no matter how tough I think I may be. Yeah, again, could be both characters just admitting their weaknesses. And then we get to the chorus. I plead, is it so hard to see a better version of me? So this is again, I interpret this as Cyrus wishing he could have been a better husband to his wife, could have been a better, better person in the relationship. I think he's wanting to have been a better, I don't know, everything, so that maybe he could have prevented what happened to Mary. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go read the Afterman storyline, especially if you have no idea who Cyrus is. That is my favorite, all-time favorite Coheed story, because it's a very tight and close-knit story. It's like you don't have to know all the other things of the Amory Wars universe. You could just read the Afterman story, and it's just its own complete unit, and it's heartbreaking. That story is available, I think, on the like Coheed Wiki fandom. It has like the whole thing printed out there. So if you wanted to read that. Um, anyway, sorry, where was I? I know life isn't fair, but it gets worse when you're going nowhere. Yeah. This I think can be also interpreted as like a Claudio type of thing, whereas like this whole album I think is kind of him with the idea that like maybe he doesn't want to be in Coheed and Cambria anymore, because he's talked about for years and years that like, possibly he's going to end the band or not be in the band anymore. He's going to be done with Coheed and Cambria because he feels like, maybe it's not the thing that he should be doing right now. So I think this is kind of going back to like the Goodbye Sunshine type of sentiment of like questioning, where you're going in life and if you're on the right path or if you should choose to take a different one. Verse 2. A fear growing since they found us. This I think definitely refers to Cyrus and Allmother. So like, he's was dumped in this other world and other timeline that he's not familiar with. And Nyanasha throughout the story, she's kind of had it out for Cyrus, because she doesn't trust him, and he's kind of shifty in that he doesn't have any memories, and he's suffering definitely mentally, and so that comes across to Nyanasha as a bit of a threat. Um, Voiced my distress, difficult to process. Um, Inside my fantasy of conflicts. The whole fantasy of conflicts reminds me a lot of how I think Vaxis would be feeling, being ripped from this like kaleidoscope of omniscience and being forced into a 5-year-old human body, and the kind of tunnel vision that what he would be experiencing in comparison to his state of being prior to that. I'm scared to question if the real me still exists. Again, could be both characters. Vaxis, in that he was this hugely powerful thing when he was in his like comatose state. I don't know if powerful is the right word. All seeing, omniscient. Um, but now he's a whole different person because his perspective has shifted. And the same goes for Cyrus, in that you know, he's lost a lot of his memories. He's lost a lot of time. He doesn't even know who he is. So he has to kind of like dig down deep and find out his truth, and who he was and who he is now, and kind of compare and contrast the two. Okay. We can get back to the chorus plead. It's so hard to see a better version of me. We already talked about that. My time, it just don't mean shit in a world of one where I live. Yeah, this can kind of be seen as the time difference, or like being dumped into a different timeline, from Cyrus's perspective. And in a world of one, meaning that like he feels like he is the only one of his kind, which he kind of is, because he's basically he's time traveled to the future. He's this relic from the past, and he is the only one of him. Um, Again, Vaxis is the only one of him, like, not that he's the only window, there's a bunch of other windows in this universe, but he seems to have extra powers. Lying beneath all that's left of the dream, headstone reads Mr. Nobody. So yeah, Mr. Nobody, to me, it kind of echoes sentiments of You Got Spirit Kid, as far as like if we're talking about the Claudio inspired um you know, real life aspect of this song. Um, and kind of taking, a look at things and wondering if, like, hey, did I do anything that even mattered? Or, am I just a nobody? Okay, Mr. Nobody, will I forgive or submit to these hard times? Um, I don't know. I'm allowed to say I don't know on some of these, you guys. Fill in the blanks for me. Um, I've made up my mind to leave this behind. Um, Again, Claudio wanting to leave the band. Know the life that I've lived through in this state of review. I reject both the old and the new you. This is forever now. Okay, so this is kind of like a self-acceptance type of moment, I think, where it's like, I think Cyrus is accepting the place and time that he is in now, and all the things all the mistakes that he made in the past. So like the moment when all his memories come back to him is a really deep character moment, in that he has to sort of relive all the things that happened, all the trauma from the Afterman section of the story, or Afterman story in that album. And then also come to terms with, that he's been in the keywork this whole time, searching for Mary, um, and being kind of lost for basically forever. And this is where he is now, and having to make peace with that. Same with Vaxis. He was in this other place, and now he's in this kind of motley ragtag group of people with his parents, but he has to either accept that state of being, or possibly seek to return to that kind of comatose state. And then now we have All Mother, I'm always awake. Love that line, of course, because it gives me nostalgia feelings. So all the mothers like dying, or had died during Cyrus's journey, and so that's what initiated this free fall, which is somehow I think how he got caught up in the containment unit of the Quintillion speaker. I'm not sure to the extent of this whole like free fall situation or how exactly that happened, but I do think All Mother, crapping out is part of what made that happen. Okay, we already talked about the chorus. Post-chorus. A bit part actor playing the world's smallest violin, standing beneath an abandoned marquee where the words read Mr. Nobody. That just gives such a great visual right there. Like, as far as me seeing it from Claudio's perspective or from his inspiration of like, I'm just up on the stage doing my thing, like, does it really matter at the end of the day, or is it, like that, like how much of a difference am I really making? But also, it kind of, to me, how this sort of reads also is like, what is your legacy after you've gone, if you've like not really touched anyone's life? You know what I mean? This whole like loneliness, I guess that kind of comes into play more so in this next in the outro here. You'll find it harmonious, the confines of loneliness. Welcome to forever, Mr. Nobody. And how like if your legacy is not, if you've never touched anyone's life or been important to anyone, your legacy is nothing. Like, you've not really made a mark on this world. So I think that's kind of I guess maybe the Claudio and also the character's perspective on things or feelings, or could be seen as that. Okay, sorry you guys. Sometimes I just feel like I'm just making stuff up on the spot. Okay, let me just check to see if I have any more. Oh, hey, I have comments. Your video talking about the story. Thank you. You show some of the illustrations from the book as well. I love the ones that you showed in the video. Yes. Okay, well, since we're talking about, I don't remember what ones I put in my video. Since we're talking about Cyrus, pretty sure I showed the one of him. Did I show this one? I'm pretty sure I showed this in my video. But this one, I mean, we have old man Cyrus here, and then we have key work Mary here. Like a dork. But that one's really like touching. Also, hold on. Oh, I also love this one. So this is right after Candelaria, or I guess Blindside Sunny has made off with Vaxis and delivered him to Candelaria. And so this is really cool image of like Candelaria's ship right here. This is Candelaria's giant ship, and this is Nostrand and Nia just kind of devastating watching this ship take off with their son. So that one was cool. Okay, I think that is it as far as like. Okay, sorry. The art is definitely cool. Who is this artist again? I always feel bad when I forget the name of the artist. He deserves a lot of credit. Chase Stone. Chase Stone is the artist. Okay, beautifully rendered. All right, sorry, I'm trying not to make this video like a million hours long. Moving right along. The Continuum Part 2, The Flood. Okay, so sorry, I kind of stumbled through the explanation of Mr. Nobody because that one is a little bit more like, I don't know, not necessarily cryptic, but it kind of has a lot going on. Sorry. My notes together. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So this song, I had said in my video explanation, or my quick summary video, that this song is kind of about two characters' inner struggles, that being, Nostrand, while the Shadowlifters kind of dig through his mind, and also Cyrus as well. So I think this whole continuum section definitely revolves around Cyrus, and it kind of points out parallels to other characters as well as we go through it. Okay, let's get into it. Oh no, okay, I'm skipping that part. We had our sunshine in a life so surreal. Okay, so sunshine definitely, harkens back to Goodbye Sunshine, which is, I think, more of the like personal Claudio inspiration for this song, being that whole like thinking about leaving the band and how laying it to rest, all that. So yeah, sorry, eloquent today. My bad. Okay, a restricted lifetime where death becomes real. That line where death becomes real is so familiar. I want to say it's in another song, but I can't remember. Or something that is very similar to that. I stole these lyrics from Genie's lyrics, and if I clicked on it, I wonder if it would take me there. Ah! Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I'm clicking things. Okay. It didn't take me where I wanted to go. Sorry. Where was I? Verse 2. I can't find where I fit into this place. Again, Cyrus being lost in this futuristic time place. To trace the lines that age gave our face. Yeah, and that's that picture I just showed where Cyrus is all old and he's all wrinkly. So imagine like going somewhere where you don't see your own reflection for, I don't know, eons of time, and then being popped out, and all of a sudden like time starts back up again, like Earth time. We were in some kind of ethereal place where time didn't quite exist or was different, or you didn't notice the passing of time, type of thing. And then you come back to, like, let's say Earth, and you're so much older than when you left. Like, what an experience that would be. Understand, you should be afraid of me. Okay, so that reminds me of the song Blood, or is it My Blood, or maybe it's just Blood, from the previous album. And that is obviously in reference to Vaxis. So again, we get a little bit more character parallels in this one. So you should be afraid. So yeah, that's Vaxis forgetting everything, that the whole reason why he went to the keyword, where he was coming from, where he came from. So he kind of losing the key that unlocks the beat of your heart, referring to forgetting why he was there, and that he was on this mission to save his wife, the woman that he loved most. Where I once loved now pumps cold blood. He mean nothing to me, a memory lost in the flood. And so this whole song, I think the key work is kind of likened to water throughout this track, and so I think the flood refers to the key work. And so yeah, that's where Cyrus kind of lost all of his memories, because I mean, who knows how long he was in there? A very long time. So yeah, he lost everything in this blue ethereal light that is the key work. There's also a war going on within there too, so I think that's part of it. Oh, if I could, I would leave you here to soldier onward to face what you fear. I don't know that one. Like it. Yeah, I don't know. Verse 4. Sorry, I'm still thinking about that. The choice isn't mine to have my time erased. Will you remember I took up this space? Yeah, again, Cyrus, being out of his time and place and having lost his memories. Okay, we already talked about the pre-chorus. We already talked about the chorus. Okay, to the bridge. In the days through the light, the shade saves me from what you cannot be. I couldn't give to you. I mean, like the what I couldn't give to you, I think kind of refers to possibly how, Cyrus came back from his trip back in the Afterman series. And his wife was pregnant with another man because she thought that he had died. So, that what I couldn't give to you, possibly referring to a child. With the chance to leave comes the chance I take to lose everything power illuminates. Um, yeah, the whole, like, to lose everything power illuminates, that is, I think, again, referring to the key work. And just kind of the whole chance to leave comes the chance I take, kind of a recap of Cyrus's decision to leave into the key work in the first place. Water rushing, everlasting. Again, so likening the key work to sort of this water imagery, into this kind of like flood of power. Over all these precious things, hear them whispering, sharing secrets through force-fed lyrics. I think this could possibly be like all the entities within the keywork and how they're all kind of just, I don't know, overwhelming. Like when Cyrus first went into the keywork, he was kind of sort of attacked, maybe not, maybe attacked isn't the right word, but like sucked into a bunch of these keywork entities who were suffering and kind of being forced to see what they were living over and over again in this endless loop, was kind of like the pain that they were trying to resolve. And yeah, the whole through a force-fed lyric kind of makes me sad to think that Claudio may feel like he's being forced into, singing on stage to deliver the lyrics that everyone wants to hear, but not really being in love with it. I could be wrong about that, but that's just what that lyric makes me think. I can't seem to dream anymore. I don't even dream anymore. That one I think can be seen as like a shift of time, like not knowing how much time has passed, like you don't even dream anymore, like this whole idea of maybe not knowing the difference between dreaming and awake. Also could be seen as Vaxis not being able to see everything anymore, not being able to have this great omniscient ability. Okay, we already talked about the chorus. Memories just lost in the flood. Memories lost in the flood where I once loved. So yeah. And I didn't talk about this. I mentioned at the beginning of this song explanation, but I didn't talk about it at all, about how this could also be interpreted as the shadow lifters breaking into Nostrand's mind, in that they kind of dig through his brain, and so this could be seen as them sort of like inundating him with a flood of memories, or like they sift through all the memories and they try and find points of vulnerability. So this can also be interpreted in that aspect, in like the flood being floods of memories, or flooded with the kind of like shadowy fingers of the shadow lifters invading your mind. Okay, let me check my comments here. Yeah, I do love this song. Hey, you're late. No, it's my fault. I kind of did this last minute. Okay, hold on. Okay. Continue on part 3. Tethered together. I'm so glad you guys can see my screen now. Now I'm not just like talking. You can see what I'm reading. Sorry. Get on with it, JJ. Okay. Your eyes on me. Search for things you can't see. Okay. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let me back up a little. Tethered together, I think, is in reference to the 4 other souls that Cyrus accidentally trapped in the containment unit within All-Mother, and then he lets them out, and those souls go and attack the red quintillion speaker and help Quinny, the blue quintillion speaker, get the upper hand against the red one. So I think the whole tethered together refers to being like trapped in this little suit, and these souls are all kind of tethered together. It also can be in reference to how Cyrus is not willing to let Mary go, in that he kind of ended up accidentally tethering her soul to him, in keeping her from moving on to the paradise part of the afterlife, accidentally, by being not ready to let her go. I said that weird, but you know what I mean. It also, and then another interpretation of this whole song is like the spiritual aspect of concerts. and live music in general, which I'll get into in a little bit as we go through this lyric, or as we go through these lyrics. Okay. Your eyes on me, searching for things you can't see. This can be maybe interpreted as like the moment where Cyrus reunites with Mary, or the like a ghostly version of Mary. Looking to find something better. Don't be afraid of whatever comes next. This now will be ours till it's severed. So yeah, I guess this could be like this, referring to maybe this possibly like long drawn out moment where Cyrus finally gets to reunite with Mary after he's been searching for her this whole time, and after he's been through all these trials and tribulations, including, losing all of his memories and forgetting that he was even looking for her in the first place. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is that moment right there where they first come back together, the reunion. And all these ghosts don't scare me woke. Hold me close in your flame. I think all these ghosts refers to the other souls that he accidentally trapped in his containment unit thing. But it could also refer to, like things that you've tried to leave buried in the past. We all sing together from the first verse to the last word. Our voices will unify in harmony, sing together, tethered forever. So this whole unifying in harmony can be interpreted as like those souls going about one purpose, combining their blue powers, blue keywork powers to attack the red quintillion speaker, and doing it as like a as one unit, as like a little miniature army. Not explaining this well. I'm sorry, guys. But also, okay, this reminds me of like I mentioned earlier, how like there's like a spiritual aspect to live music and concerts. I'm sure if you've been to a show by a band that you really enjoyed, you felt this almost like spiritual connection with everyone else in the room. Like when you're all singing the same exact lyric, you're all singing it, and it's just this like very uplifting feeling. Like I don't know. There's nothing like being at a Coheed show and everyone is just like screaming the lyrics, or any like music show where like everyone knows the lyrics, everyone's singing it all together, and it unites you in this one moment. And I think I think for me it's like a spiritual experience. I kind of get to like feel the power of everyone's combined consciousness, I want to say, and in that we're all kind of like vibrating on the same wavelength for this short period of time for this one specific purpose. And I feel like that's very healing. Okay, sorry, not to get too like new agey, like weird on you guys, but like that's how I feel. And that's kind of how I interpret this portion of the song. Okay. With the weight this carries for the moment it brings, a target to seize, good measure. Okay, I did prepare for this video. I did think I had something to say for all the lyrics, but sometimes I don't know, things escape me. A target to seize for good measure. Again, going back to the idea of these souls working as one unit to attack the evil red quintillion speaker. Sorry, I say a lot of ums. It's something I usually edit out of my videos, so sorry if I'm annoying you with all of my it annoys me when I'm editing. Okay. In the end, I will make sure I will be on my terms. A bed I could lay in forever unnerved. This reminds me of, again, the whole theme of Claudio wanting to leave the band, or considering leaving the band, or whenever the time is right that he decides to end this thing that is Coheed Cambria. It'll be on his terms, it'll be his decision, and I think he will be sorry, I was reading a text and got distracted. I'm so professional. Where was I going with this? Yeah, oh, I bet I could lay in forever unnerved. I don't really know, because it's kind of like a paradox. It's like you could lay in it forever, but, like, be unnerved the whole time. Like, it's like you're happy with your decision, but at the same time, you're still itching to go back and redo it and do it in a different way. I don't know. That's sort of seems like a paradox to me. No regrets, never at the stop or the start. Here's my chance now, pull it apart. Um So I think this could be like Cyrus not regretting having stepped into the key work to go search for Mary, even though it kind of ended in him searching for forever and not, finding her up until he's like pretty much lost all of his memories and lost his mind. But here's his chance now. Here he is, and he's standing before her, and he's not going to, waste this moment that he's been seeking for, I don't know, years and centuries possibly. So while we all sing together from the first verse to the last. Okay, we already talked about the chorus. Together, 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 being together, all of us children of the fence at a Coheed show, we're all together. Or together, together, as in like Mary and Cyrus again, together again for the first time in a long time. We already talked about that. We already talked about it. Okay, I think we talked about all the lyrics here. Okay, let me, hello, hello, hello. Try to check this chat periodically. Okay. And to our fourth and final continuum track, and the final track on this album. So it goes. Okay. And I have to say that I love this song because it feels like a continuation of Window of the Waking Mind, the final track on the last album. And it has this very like theater, like musical, and it has I don't know. It feels like those two songs should be played back to back, and it would be like the perfect, I don't know, vibe. Okay, so we start off here with a backwards. Please, somebody open this lock. I'm not sure why it's backwards. But this whole a lock is referenced in another part in the song. But that reminds me of how in the last book, in the last album, Naya Nasha was locked in this box, and then Nostrin opened the box, and this prize came out of there. So it could be seen as possibly part of this song being from Naya Nasha's perspective. And Naya Nasha, unfortunately, is not mentioned a whole lot in this most recent Vaxis release. She's kind of a background character. She has this whole thing where she's like kind of has it out for Cyrus because she's threatened. She feels like he is a threat, and she doesn't know anything about him, but she also doesn't really know much about herself until they get to the slope, and then she discovers that what her purpose was and everything. So she is also kind of going down a similar self-discovery, like memory recall, like finding her purpose again journey as Cyrus. And then she feels bad for having been mean to him this whole time. But she's not in the story a ton in this one. And we still don't really know how she got into this world or into that box. That's sort of a mystery still. In being that we now have the final release of No World for Tomorrow comics, which I talked about in my part 2 video of that story explanation. All the prize die again. The prize have all died so many times. But all the prize die at the end of that one. And so I'm really curious as to how Naya Nasha came to be, or where she came from, or how they got her, etc. Could be some kind of form of time travel, or yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry, that's a big side quest. Let me get back into talking about this. Okay. It's all in my head, these lines that connect you and me and everything between us. And this whole song, I think, is referring a lot to the similarities between Chase and Vaxis. So yeah, the connecting you and me and everything between us, I think, I don't know, my theory is that Chase's powers as the visual are kind of mirrored, but enhanced, as far as like Vaxis has similar powers, but maybe he has even more of them. I'm wondering if Vaxis can open up a willing well, and if that's kind of like Chase lays eyes on him, and she kind of has this innate understanding of his abilities, and she is both interested and excited, but also a little bit fearful of what he can do. Okay, it's all by design, the divide you experience from mind to decide how you feel about it. So I think this goes into how like people can be kind of afraid of Vaxis, because he is so powerful, or he has the potential to be so extremely powerful, that it's quite intimidating. Because let's say someone has the power to destroy the world and it's put in the hands of a 5-year-old. Like, I'd be a little afraid. Those 5-year-olds are crazy. I have a 2-year-old and she's insane. But anyway, I digress. Oh wait, let me make sure I'm not like forgetting anything. Sorry, let me just oh yeah, I was thinking too that this whole song could be about Vaxis being under capture by Candelaria. Like, this might be like a flash forward into events that take place after the storybook has ended. So like the story ends, Vaxis is captured by Candelaria. So potentially he could lock Vaxis into a box, and that's where we get the whole like, someone please let me out of this box, or like unlock this. What is it? Someone please open this lock, type of thing. I guess it doesn't have to be in a box. It's just imprisoned in general. I don't know why I always think of a box. Anyway, shoot, where was I? Sorry. Oh, the way I shake out of control. Don't look at me. I'm ashamed of what you'll see. But you keep still. Oh my gosh. But you keep on still with those eyes from a space where someone like me shouldn't be alive. I think, again, this could be Cyrus and Mary's reunion. It could also be, I don't know, like a future version of Vaxis is kind of what this makes me think, possibly. But that's all. I don't know. That's all conjecture. I mean, all of this is conjecture. But it feels so strange to watch life pass me by without so much as a whisper. Well, so it goes. Oh, sorry, and that last lyric too, it could be about Chase, as far as like someone like me who shouldn't be alive, being that she's from a whole different timeline in a whole different world entirely. Anyway, and so the whole course here, I think, is definitely from Chase's point of view, or at least that's how I look at it, how she's at the end of her life, and just being okay, like being okay with being at the end of your life and not being afraid to cross over into death, because that's where all her friends already are. And she says something to that effect at some point in the storybook here. Oh, let me show you the. Did I show? I can't remember what pictures I showed in my video, but let me show you the picture we have of Chase. I think they did a very good job making a little girl look old. Like, I was like, I don't know, like that's a very hard task. So, like, you have a little girl to make her look really old. Like, how would you do that? But this is done beautifully. Oh my gosh. We have a little Vaxis here, and then we have Chase here. You can't really see very well in the video, but she's got like crow's feet and everything. But she's still, you can tell she still looks youthful to some degree. Okay. Out of my head and into your arms. I think that refers to Vaxis like coming out of being in this coma-like state and now being in his mother's arms for the very first time and being able to, feel her presence. Confused by protection, I lost your affection. Mother, wake me, 'cause sleeping I'm not. That, I think, is again a Vaxis and Nia type of dynamic there, like how both Nostra and Nia were very worried about keeping Vaxis safe. Like, they thought that he was in horrible pain while he was in this coma, so they did everything that they could to try and alleviate his pain, to wake him up, etc. And I think having to care for a child like that, I think Vaxis might think that, he lost some of their affection by being not present until just recently. Mother, wake me up because sleeping I'm not. Yeah, again, that could be a future version of not a future version of Vaxis. Well, potentially a future version of Vaxis, but also like Vaxis under capture, and possibly being forced to go back into his coma-like state so that he has that omniscient perspective again, and Candelaria trying to capitalize on that. Very deep inside my skin. There's no time to fiddle on the back of broken. This, I think, very deep inside my skin could be referring to the shadow lifters kind of doing their mind control little work there. It could also be Candelaria wanting to use Vaxis as a tool to, I don't know, sustain his life. That's kind of his goal. That's why he harvests blood from young people. He wants to sustain his life, just like the 5 heads of House Supremacy do, because they're kind of deteriorating their bioplative suits. But there's no time to fiddle on the back of broken. I'm not exactly sure what that means, or how to interpret that. The space behind his eyes scares the kids. I definitely see that as referring to Vaxis. And this whole, like, how he's a 5-year-old, but he definitely has so much knowledge behind his eyes, and, it could be, I'm sure it could be scary. Here at the end where everyone begins. That kind of reminds me of how the slope is stationed like right outside this black hole. It's kind of like located at the end of the world, or at the end of their world, and where everything begins. Can refer to like the journey that they're going on. Okay, we talked about that. Please, somebody open this lock. My mind is breaking apart. So I think that is, again, like that could be Vaxis being forced to use his powers, or all of his mind being confined in this human body, and he feels like his brain can't handle it. He needs to expand, break free, and become more than just what his human body can handle. Or it could be him enduring some kind of torture via, Candelaria, who's maybe testing his abilities. That's just where my mind jumps to with that lyric. Is there a way for the light to escape the dark? Again, that reminds me of the black hole that the slope is stationed right outside of. For the light to escape the dark, as in like black holes that are so much gravity that light can't even escape. Please, somebody open this lock. I don't know. If we're talking about like a black hole and somebody please open this lock, it's like it could possibly be referring to like wanting to open up this black hole and bring back Heaven's Fence. Like it's this whole like world that's locked away inside this black hole that was, this world that was supposedly destroyed and locked behind this door that is the black hole, and wanting to break it open, possibly, like to see what is left of Heaven's Fence. But I could be wrong about that. And again, this could refer to Nainasha from the previous album, and her, like not remembering things. It could also be Cyrus not remembering things and wanting to unlock his memories. It could be a lot of things. My mind is breaking apart. Is there a way for light to escape the dark? And so like we repeat it, but then it's like, well, maybe we repeat it because it's from another character's perspective. Like that could be Chase's perspective. Her mind breaking apart in that she is slowly dying. And okay, I'm just a broken window. Window, of course, being what Vaxis is. Vaxis is a window, and that's why he has all these special abilities and powers. But saying that he's broken would then make me think that someone has broken him, as in like Candelaria has broken him under torture, or him being broken because he's now separated from his parents. Or it could be, again, Chase, and like maybe she's not called a window in this universe, but like that's basically what her powers kind of are, is able to open willing wells, makes her sort of a window in that regard. But she's broken in that she's at the end of her life. She's going to die soon. It's so strange to watch life pass me by without a whisper. We talked about the chorus, and so it goes. Well, so it goes. It's sort of like a happy like closing of the book, sort of in my opinion, of how like I don't know, like how I think if Claudio were to end the band, I think he has said, you know, in interviews that he would be happy to, he would end it on a good note and be happy about the things that he accomplished, and you know, not so, you know, upset about like not doing it anymore, etc. But also, again, like from the lore perspective, it's, you know, Chase on her deathbed being willing to, you know, die so that she can go back and see all of her friends finally after all this time. Okay. Whew. Sorry, that was a lot. Okay, let me read your comments. I would think it's about Vaxis and or Cyrus since they were locked away in time. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Like the whole like I was going with a more like literal interpretation of a lock, but yeah, it could be more metaphorical and like locked away in a different time and place, within their minds or within the keywork. Yeah, I can see that. For me, it's Vaxis feeling like he shouldn't be alive because now he's physically a kid, but he's experienced past, present, future, all of those years he was trapped in time. Yes. More realistic style was very well done. Same with Vaxis one. I can't wait to see him all grown up. Yeah, I'm excited to see Vaxis all grown up. I'm curious, like when that, like if we're gonna have like a big time skip in the next book series or the next album, if we're gonna see grown up Vaxis, like if he's been separated from his parents for that long or something. Anyway, to me, he has PTSD. He has lived countless years while he was in that coma, so now he's more than an old man in a child's body. He's like a fourth dimension being. Yes. Yeah, I can definitely see that. So, yeah, again, there's so many parallels between all the characters that it makes it really cool to see. Oh, wait. Can you see this when I do this? Can you see? Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry. Anyway, sorry, I keep getting distracted. Yeah, fourth dimension being is definitely a good way to put it. And I think that like if I were to guess, like just from a writer standpoint, I think we would definitely see Candelaria, you know, poking at Vaxis in the next, you know, the next scene would be, I think, Candelaria kind of like poking at Vaxis and testing him and seeing what all he can and can't do and trying to unlock all the powers that Vaxis has, and that probably backfiring on Candelaria because Vaxis is so powerful. That is all of that is the whole shebang. That's my interpretation. Also, something I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention in my part 1 video is that like when I was doing research for this, and I was watching all these interviews with Claudio, he said something that I think is really important, and I'm paraphrasing here, so this is an exact quote, but I'm paraphrasing. He said, and he was referring to, what song was he referring to? Shoot. And whatever meaning you derive from it is what you want it to be. Your imagination is what's important. So that like just exemplifies like everything that I don't know. I try to do with all of my video, you know, story interpretations is tell you my perspective on it, and then kind of urge you all to like, you know, discover what your interpretation is of it. Like, and it's always fun to see like some of you leave me very long like comments on like how like it means a certain thing to you because you were at this point in your life when this song came out and you just related the lyrics so much to what you're going through at the time. And that can be said for any band, of course. But I think that's just so cool to see people, you know, have that experience, and that's like the magic of what music can do for people. It's very like healing, it's very cathartic, it's kind of like the tool that you use to, you know, to use it to make it be whatever you need it. Like, sorry, you pull from it whatever you need in the moment, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of for him to mention, because that's something that I tried to touch on in some of my videos, like, hey, this is my own personal interpretation. Because I was reading through some comments, YouTube comments earlier today, mostly on my like sleep token video, where I kind of made all of that stuff up because it's just my interpretation of it. Which I do say that in the video. I'm like, this is my interpretation, personal. Like, this is how I interpret it. But some people are like, how did you come up with it? Like, where did you get all this information? And luckily, there are a lot of bands that have like actual lore. Like, we have the books, we have comics, we have like things to pull from. But yeah, then there's a whole other layer to it. Like, there's the band's like lore that they present to the fans. It's like, this is what these songs are about. And then there's your personal interpretation on top of that, and then of course, like, I don't know, it kind of like, once you put art out there into the universe, it kind of no longer belongs to you. To some degree, it belongs to whoever is consuming it and their own personal connections to it. Okay, enough with the TED Talk. Sorry. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in and being here chatting with me. Sorry, just reading one of the comments. Thank you for sharing the art. Waiting for someone to make a flip through just of the art of the book someday. I'm sure someone will probably post that online at some point. And I'm sure this book will be available on like the Coheed Cambria store or the Evil Ink store at some point. Because they've done that with the past 2 Vaxis books. There'll be like a paperback version of this for like very cheap, like $20 or something. At least I think that's what it was going for. And so you can buy it if you want to own the artwork yourself. Anyway, you should have had your glasses for the TED Talk. I know I have them here somewhere. Anyway, yeah, I want to do this again. I want to try and do a live stream once a month, potentially. I don't know, life is kind of crazy, but I would love to do a live stream once a month, and I would love for you guys to tell me what album you want to cover next. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're probably going to want me to cover more Coheed albums, which I would love to do. I'm happy to do that. And I will probably get around to every single one of their albums at some point. But also feel free to suggest other concept albums that I've covered on my channel to do like a deep dive with. I would love to do some Sleep Token. I'd love to do some Mars Volta. Mars Volta would be like a lot. That one would probably be like a 2-part video just for Deloused in the Comatorium, because that one is a lot. I'm sorry, I don't usually give you guys very much notice when I'm doing these live videos. I'm going to try and be a little bit more consistent, but 2 young kids, and it's just sometimes I just like, I can do it today at this time, like, or I like plan. I was like, oh, I would love to do it this weekend, but then something comes up, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't tell everyone I was going to do it this weekend, because now I can't, type of thing. So let me know in the. I don't know if I'm able. Okay, I don't know how this works, but like, I think I'm going to be able to upload this like to YouTube for people to watch later, I'm assuming. So let me know in those comments if you're watching this in the future, if I'm able to upload this. What album I should deep dive next. Also, I might just throw it out to my metalhead community to vote on what album I should do next, or I might just throw a poll on YouTube or Instagram or something. So just let me know what I should do next. And thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, it'll say permanent uploaded. Okay, cool. Sorry, guys. I'm a bit of a dork. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, stay tuned for my next live stream, which will probably be in September sometime. All right.